Good morning, everyone. Happy November 8th. Yes, it is, in fact, November 8th, 2025 will be a thing of the past pretty soon. And hopefully this sentiment as well. And that is the patriarchy redefining itself, evolving to be more palatable to people who have not caught up with the undermined divisiveness of it all. And that is gone to a whole different level. And it is also becoming a threat for the very people that it's exploiting, which are and is the transgender community. You see, there are men who feel entitled to women's spaces. And so they've come under the guise of an ally, or maybe not so much, but are utilizing the female spaces and not even really trying all that much. I don't know any transgender person who would go out of their way to intentionally harm women and make them feel uncomfortable. That is not their goal. And as a matter of fact, a lot of transgender people are very cautious as to how they are moving through those spaces because they are cognizant of the fact that they may be looked at as other in that space, especially if they are in transition or if they are one of our transgendered sisters who may not have transitioned in a way that is convincing enough to the mainstream society. But the patriarchy in dresses is becoming an issue. We have men that are highly predatorial, that want to force themselves into women's spaces because they feel that it's not only a challenge, but who's gonna say anything now that the law itself says that if you identify as said gender, it's okay, you can go into those spaces, no questions asked. And in fact, the women's whose instincts and their discernment is saying that there is something oddly strange about this because your behaviors are not lining up with that space. You're either leering, jeering, staring at women, or you have your phone out and you're getting cheap corn by your very physicality being in that space, because now you have access to spaces that traditionally you weren't allowed in, presenting as yourself. And here's the thing, a lot of these men aren't even trying to fit in. They're going in there looking all of their gender. What is really disturbing about this whole Tish thing is that people, there's a lot of support. I myself personally support her because I am a woman that supports protecting our daughters and our spaces as women. But people are coming down on her and saying things because, of course, let's face it, we have people out there that are trolls. They're not even engaged or concerned about resolving this or having an honest dialogue. They're using it as an opportunity to poke fun at and really just to detract from the issue, which is why isn't it that a lot of these organizations and these people, and especially men, are not doing their due diligence in protecting women. And what's even crazier, some men have even admitted that they hide under the skirts. They go back to that mother wound of expecting women to protect them. So where are the men? If all the men are wanting to be protected by women, are women now also the new men? Is the patriarchy transgender by definition, transgenderism, going into really defining themselves as everything? Is the patriarchy all encompassing? Are we as women now forced to go into smaller spaces of our identity and put up with this? Because men have so much. Why do they need our spaces too? Why do they need to sexually force themselves into our spaces? It's all for their own self-consumption and personal expression. And the other thing that's so frustrating that the patriarchy thinks is okay, apps that are specifically designed, and they're obviously, it may not even be designed by lesbians, because let's face it, the security protocols aren't there. But men are making profiles on lesbian apps. It's getting a little hot, I'm getting a little steamed up over this, but men are making profiles on lesbian apps, dating apps, and they're not even changing their appearance to even fit in as a woman. Like when you see their profile, it's a dude. They even keep their gym. This is, and it's like, it's almost a mockery. Maybe there's some people out there that are intentionally doing this to literally say, hey, you guys need to actually, there's boundaries for a reason. You guys need to reel this in and look at what you're doing. You're exploiting the very people that we're supposed to protect, women who are the physically less strong gender. in sex, you're exploiting them by basis of like saying that indirectly that the patriarchy is superior to anything that a woman can do, when in fact it is us women that carry you guys. We carry you in so many ways. I have witnessed numerous times of women being accosted in spaces in public, and guess who came to that woman's rescue? It's never a man. Occasionally you guys do step in, and I really appreciate you men that do that. As a lesbian, I respect men that are actually men, but it's always a woman that steps up for both a man and a woman. And women aren't supposed to be the ultimate protectors in that regard. Yes, when we are mothers, we have these instincts to protect our children, but protecting grown men and their sexual predation and intentions is not okay. And a lot of women, like we're taught to be nice, and so when these obvious men have come into our spaces, and I've witnessed it myself, like I come out of the restroom and I go to wash my hands and there's this woman, I'm not, okay, let me just stop right there. That is not a woman. They're not even trying. It's a man in the women's restroom. And I feel scared because I shouldn't have to feel scared in a space that was designed for me and those that have the same genitalia as me. That's not right. The hierarchy of human importance always yields on the side of the patriarchy. The patriarchy is now wearing dresses and they're performative. And the patriarchy also likes this fascination of what they would do if they hadn't had a vagina, what they would do to their vaginas. They also dress in a way that they wish that women would dress. And I also know this for a fact. A lot of people who, just because they dress or just because they identify as trans does not necessarily mean that they are gay. A lot of them actually are attracted to women. So if you are a trans person that went from male to female, a lot of times they are attracted to women and vice versa. And what's really crazy about this whole thing is I've had really unpleasant experiences, not with all, and that's why I'm making that distinction now. But we have discernment and a gut instinct for a reason. And I am so sick and tired, especially as a woman, and witnessing women being told that we're wrong for trusting our gut instinct, being gaslit. Like the realms and the macro of narcissism are just exponential. It goes from gender expression, it's politics, it's it's systemic, it's all of those things. We are being boxed in and told that we are wrong for being uncomfortable. And then when a woman gets essayed, it's her fault for just existing. I'm so sick of it. The patriarchy is wearing dresses, and I get that gender expression has evolved over centuries because, let's be honest, back in the days, heels, makeup, wigs, all that, the patriarchy initially wore. It was a sign of prestige. It was affluency. Wartime, they wore dresses to access, like there were so many strategic ways, but now women are the ones that are identified with those things. And the patriarchy is using a woman's own cloak to cloak themselves in for their own nasty intentions. Down with the patriarchy and dresses. If you are truly trans, I support you, but the patriarchy and dresses is doing you a disservice. They gotta go. They gotta go. I gotta get out of here, but they gotta go.